Hi everyone, I'm back. So I believe I left off the last video talking about Halloween and kind of how that went and how I felt about that. So there's another thing that happened in October that I just remembered, and that was that my mom scheduled me another appointment for the pediatrician. And this appointment, it went okay. It was 100% against my will, but my mom was starting to get really concerned about me because I was becoming less compliant with eating and doing what she said. So I was forced to go, basically. And when we were there, of course, they weighed me, and I weighed significantly less than the last time we were there. And she asked my mom how much, because I refused to talk, because I was like, I don't want to be here, I'm not talking to you. And my mom told her I was eating, I think it was between 1,000 and 1,200 calories a day. And that, she kind of looked at my mom with like amazement, like, oh my gosh, like she's only eating that much. That's not good. That's not good at all. And she told my mom basically that I need to be eating at least a baseline of 1,600 calories a day, and that doesn't include any type of physical activity or anything like that. So, looking back at that, I think that 1,600 calories, that little statement, is way, way off. Like, extremely off. Because for me, I know personally, calories differ from person to person, but I know that is not enough for me to survive. Even if I didn't run or do any type of physical activity, I know that that isn't enough to live off of. So that alone was kind of a crazy statement. And I mean, I'm not saying like she doesn't know what she's talking about, but that was just a little bit off. Anyways, so I left there extremely irritated, not talking to my mom at all on the way home, giving her the cold shoulder to the extreme. And needless to say, I tried my hardest to not hit that 1,600 calories because I thought if I hit that 1,600 calorie mark, I was going to gain weight. That doesn't make sense at all. That's kind of, I mean, eating disordered thoughts never make sense, and they're never realistic thinking. So, I mean, that kind of, if that makes sense. And so that was that. I think that's the last big thing that kind of happened in October. And then November, there's a lot of stuff that happened in November. Okay, so November. November was the end of the cross country season, and kind of after that is when I became, like, I know I always say after certain events I became really bad, but after this was kind of a turning point when I went from being just like kind of moody about eating and being not really compliant to being my way or the highway. Like, we're doing this my way or we ain't doing it at all. And I think that I was that way because both of my parents were getting super concerned about my eating, and they wouldn't let me exercise or do anything after the cross country season had ended. So I think that's kind of why, is because I figured if I'm not exercising, I need to extremely restrict what I was eating. And it's not what I should have done at all. And so my dad, well, I had the thought like, all right, I'll just run on the treadmill. Like, it's in the living room. Like, you gonna stop me? Well, they did, because when I went to go get on the treadmill and I plugged it in, it didn't turn on, and I could not get it to work. My dad unplugged it. I don't know what he did. I don't know what kind of little cords and wires he fiddled with, but I mean, I tried to do it myself. I tried to figure it out. I tried my absolute hardest. But he did something magical. I don't know what he did, but he unhooked it somehow. So that was out of the question. I couldn't do that. So then I started doing like secretly in my room. I mean, I'm sure they knew what I was doing, but I never told them. They never really said anything to me. I did lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of planks, sit-ups, crunches, like core exercises, because I was obsessed with the little pudges on my stomach when I would sit down, and I hated that, and I thought if I like spot exercised that would make it go away. And, you know, that's also not how that works. You can't really necessarily spot exercise. I'm not really sure if that's the right word for it also. So if I'm like way wrong and that sounds stupid, I apologize. And so I also started doing that a lot. And along with doing that, I started weighing myself. And I always weighed myself on Mondays and Wednesdays. Not sure why I picked those days, but I always weighed myself. And my mom would ask me what I weighed, and I lied to her every single time. Because she would ask me, because I was like, if I tell her I weigh less, she's going to freak out, and then she's going to make me eat more. So then I'll just tell her I weigh the same, so then it's just no big deal. And about every single time I weighed myself, it was either the same or it was going down. And kind of over the course of several weeks, it started to slowly trickle down. And I always told myself, like, all right, we're staying at this weight. We're staying here. But it kind of became a game. I would say it started to become a game with myself that I was playing, because it was like, all right, how low can we go? And that's a very dangerous game to play, because eventually you can't go any lower. Your body will fail. So that's kind of also something else that I started to do after the cross-country season had ended. And I have my journal. This is probably super dumb, but I journaled sometimes. It's not very regular, but it's something, and I thought I would read it, maybe talk about some of the points that I read. So this was November 21st on a Monday, and I have lunch was good. Today was Madison Sutliff's birthday, so she brought cake pops. It was good. I'm sure I was lying about that. And I didn't eat all of my lunch. I know I'm supposed to, but my mom and dad are not letting me run, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it, considering I won't hit 1,600 calories anyways. So that's kind of something I started to do at lunch too. I started throwing everything away, or I would take a bite and be like, yeah, I ate that. Or because like my mom would ask me, did you eat lunch? I'd be like, yeah, I ate it, a couple bites of my sandwich, a bite of yogurt, my granola bar. I don't think I ever ate that. I think that just went straight into the trash can. So that was that. And from this day, I don't think... Oh, okay. All right. So, okay, I'm almost at 10 minutes, so I'm going to stop here for now, and I'll pick up in another video.